This is Dodge Viper Cup. 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 All we have to look forward to now is the 2011 season. This is Dodge Viper Cup.
And it is time for the second season of Dodge Viper Cup competition. It's 2011. Welcome everybody to Sebring International Raceway for the opening round of the series. I'm Greg Creamer. You've already met Tom Natchew, very busy man out on the track, but we've had a huge development here. And Tom, I think it's safe to say that the season for 2011 truly started with a bang, not a whimper.
It did, and we'll get into it in a little while, but suffice to say for now, we're under full rev. We're making sure everything's okay in the track, but we thought you might like to take a trip down memory lane.
And of course, it all started last year, the inaugural season at Virginia International Raceway, and immediately we had fireworks. Some great competition with moves like this, Ben Keating going to the lead early.
Ben Keating, not only the fast one on the track, but from the back of the pack, a young man named Ryan Shims establishes himself as a force to be reckoned with in race number 1.
Obviously willing to take it to the limit. However, it was Keating who brought home the win, but Shims proved to be very fast indeed. Race number 2 got underway. See Jim Stout lighting him up here. Standing starts the norm here in Dodge Viper Cup competition, but this time things were going to be a bit different at the front.
Well, right off the bat, we had a very hot day. The number 99 car, Jeff Courtney, pulls off at Oak Tree just to make sure that he keeps everything alive for the next round.
Meanwhile, Ryan Shims, showing what he was going to be capable of this season, opened up a big lead, a commanding lead, and took it all the way to the checkered flag. Round 3 was at Hallett, and the story here, Tom, was heat.
Yeah, it was over 100 degrees for most of the time these guys were on the track. Cockpit temperatures were ridiculous, but as you can see as we exchange in-car cameras from Keating and Shims, they were going to start off hot.
Just some unbelievable racing. There's Connie Bogan, who was one of the revelations of the season, putting on a great move. But the heat started to take its toll. Ben Keating suddenly slowing, and it was due to excessive temperature.
Well, he was hot. The Viper was doing okay, but Ben Keating saw cockpit temperatures somewhere around 150 degrees, and he thought he'd better call it off. More racing action in the twisty bits. As you can see, everybody got into this. We stayed clean and green for most of the race, and Michael Von Quillick puts on a pass.
Very, very savvy move as he gets down underneath, makes it stick down to the inside. Of course, it was heat and it was grip, and it was a great show at the front. The next round, also at Hallett, all of the events double headers, and this time Keating got away clean at the front, but look, he had company on his right shoulder.
Yeah, right next to him there is a guy with a lot of racing experience, and Ben Keating. Man, oh man, Greg, is always going to make it exciting, isn't he?
Man, it's right foot to the floor and live with it. And we didn't see the end of the spins in the action. So you can see cars pretty much everywhere here, both sides of the track. Ryan Shims getting away with one, able to gather it back up, Tom, and then a charge back to the pack.
And Michael Von Quillick didn't even see that coming as he goes down to the inside, but we get a chance to see Michael following him through there thinking, where did this guy come from?
Absolutely amazing competition, and Richie Hearn opening up that big margin to the win, but Shims bringing home a strong finish, perhaps foreshadowing what was going to happen the rest of the season. Speaking of foreshadowing, we're still sitting here full red at Sebring.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keene, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
We are back at Sebring, everybody, and you can see some communication from officials to drivers. Doors are shutting, cameraman running in to turn on the onboard. So a plan is in place, and we're going to be able to get this race going once again after this long red flag stoppage, which again we'll explain in just a minute. But meanwhile, let's go back to last year. Pocono Raceway provided some absolutely spectacular racing and images.
I wondered about what a super speedway with an infield would do. Turned out to be perfect for the Viper, but look at what Ryan Shims just got away with. Not too much damage on his arrow either. He still remains competitive up until he runs into Bucky Lasik in kind of a friendly way. Watch
well,
this.
Lasik running a little wide and comes across, and Shims just able to avoid him. Lasik got the barriers. It looked worse than it was, actually. He was able to run the next day. But at the end, bringing it home with a solid run was Keith Verges, and he would start on the inside, but you see to the left right there, again, is Keating, and they were going to have another great scrap, but a guy who really showed some stuff here was Bucky in that second round of Pocono, coming from deep in the pack. What a great run.
Yeah, he went by Eric Allern and Jim Stout on the same lap. More collisions. Isn't that the first time that they collided in this series?
But why? No, not at all. But I tell you, look at the load on these suspensions and the banking that these Vipers handling, just soaking it up, and the immense power and speed. And as Keating comes by, the sound of those cars unleashed on that banking was spectacular. Next two rounds, Miller Motorsports Park. Ryan Shims was going to put his stamp on the championship here, but not without a fight from Mr. Keating. Meanwhile, we hop on board with Kurt Solberg. You see a little contact, and look at Eric Allern trying to save it. Not quite. Floats off, but a beautiful save there. But Keating was not yet done.
No, he has a nice big off here and just about catches it, but not quite. Now, Keating always puts his, makes it so he puts his work out forward.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Ralph Schills, president of Dodge himself, having a bit of a moment here, then decides to go stealth mode, throw up the smoke screen, and get back underway, and he did with great effect.
Yeah, he remained in P3, did not lose a spot, but Ryan Shims, does he clinch here? Or is it the next one? We'll have to check the points. Meanwhile, round number 8, Ryan Shims starts on the inside. Ben Keating's not going to make it easy on him. Going to go side by side into turn number 1. That's never going to work, Ben.
Well, I think he learned from the previous day, backed off just a little bit, but turns out he had a puncture, and guess who gets ushered off again? It's Verges, who's got to be looking over going, what is going on? But this one truly was a puncture for Keating, and he did a great job to save it, actually.
So did Verges, and to come back and fight another day. And look at this battle between Connie Bogan, Eric Allern, and Kurt Solberger. You'd never guess the racing was this good at Dodge Viper Cup in the middle of the field, too.
Oh, it was huge, little contact there, actually a double bounce for Allern. And they say it doesn't rain in the desert, and that's true. It pours. And this caught everybody out by surprise. Keith Verges, again, on hot racing dry slick tires, and around he goes. Jim Stout going to get caught up as well. And then a big moment here for one of the players sitting in second was Ralph Giles, and he just floats wide, not quite enough, not able to hang on, drops to third behind Charlie Putman.
Charlie Putman does a great job in that number 99 Kenda car, but there is your new championship. So as we go to Spring Mountain Motorsports Ranch, it's all over but the crying for the championships, but that didn't make the racing any less interesting.
Oh no, it was intense. You can see a little Dusty on the track, sitting in the desert in Pahrump, Nevada, as Shims leads away. This guy, Tanner Faust, came in and really showed some stuff.
Yeah, really went from way back in the pack. Now he's P2 after lap number 1. Mike Von Quillick does some high-speed agriculture work, but he lives here in Peru, so he knows the territory very, very well.
But not this bit.
Oh, he forgot
that
about it.
caught him by serious surprise. And watch, when he goes off here, you're on board with Carl Black. If you're ever wondering about keeping that visor down, even if you're on a full cockpit enclosed car, look at the spray coming through, then the rebound as it bounces around, comes back at you. Keep that visor down, folks. And look at Keating trying to make the move on Faust. They're both chasing Ryan Shims. Look at Keating around the outside.
Bad
Beautiful move, great pass. It was under yellow. The starter goes, denied.
Oh man, when it happens in the last lap, it's such a surprise too. Why don't I get the checker flag? But anyways, Ryan Shims wraps it up again here again. Final standing start of 2010. Here we go.
And it was awesome, and you can see up front this time Tanner Faust leads away. Meanwhile, the pack funneling through. This was a very, very challenging track. Faust just simply never headed in this one. Ryan Shims a smart second, and there you see a great drive by Gilles bringing it home in third, and fending off a determined Ben Keating. So that's a look back at 2010. 2011, we're about to resume and get ready for a very, very abbreviated race, but we're going to get one underway.
We'll be back after this. Hi there, I'm Tom Natcher, and this is Greg Kramer. We're called the old bastards of racing in many circles. You know, I guess we met back in the late 1980s.
Easy. It had to be at least that far back. Glory day of some racing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Trans Am was a part of the picture, and actually I learned to do pro announcing from this man around the Trans Am Championship. Oh, that is a long time ago.
A very long time ago, but I'll tell you what, you take a look at Trans Am racing in the early 90s in particular, the names that were running at that time. But the other side of the story was World Challenge was really starting to come alive at that point. And the names in that, there were sometimes you'd look at the two rosters and go, you know, I'm not sure which one is the most talent. Some amazing stuff from those decades past, and of course, a lot of those drivers also doubling up, running amateur racing in the runoffs, and it was spectacular stuff.
Now, GoRacingTV has got all of that action, Trans Am World Challenge, and even some runoff material, all coming up over the next season. That's going to be something to watch.
I know, to be able to relive those 2 decades of motorsports from the Sports Car Club of America's Pro Racing Department, Trans Am World Challenge, and then you include the National Amateur Championships, the runoff, the intense battles that unfolded there. It simply doesn't get any better than that, and it lives again right here on GoRacingTV.com.
Because I need to spend more time in front of my computer.
We're back at Sebring, and folks, we're going to take you back now to the start of the race. And it's actually
not quite to the start.
Well, that's true.
We originally started at a full course yellow immediately as we started this race because there was a big incident down into turn number 1.
And here's how they lined up when they were about to take the green. A.J. Morgan and Ben Keating sharing the front row.
Those
then
are
you take a
familiar
look.
faces.
Yeah, absolutely. Ted Hughes, new to the championship, and Frank Lussier as well.
He's a charity giver, and he actually bought this ride. Great to have Frank with us.
Michael Von Quillick, of course, an experienced driver. Billy Grupp, this is his first ever start in the Dodge Viper Cup.
Todd Nelson did the celebrity race a couple of months ago, but that's will be his second one. And J.G. Pasternak from Grassroots Motorsports.
Kurt Solberger and Dave Fiorelli. Solberger ran last year. Fiorelli, a rookie to the championship.
In a brand new car. Jeff Courtney did not get a lap in qualifying, and neither did Dave Mazik. So it's going to be fun to have them starting right from the back.
As will Larry Carter in the number 44. So that's how they lined up as we were getting ready to go green on this one. Again, a rolling start because of all the water out on the track. Usually we do standing starts. And as the flag flew, watch Fiorelli to the left of the screen as he makes the move. There's the green. There he goes right into the water, Tom.
Yeah, he started on rain tires. He thought he'd be okay there, but look what happens next. Fiorelli, as you see A.J. Morgan go into the front, does that! Hard hit. Oh, and the driver's left, and look at that. Look at that. It's amazing how much, you can see that the wall has moved back considerably, but the Viper doesn't seem to have that much damage on it.
Yeah, surprising to be sure. Morgan leading away from Keating, but as they come through the sweeper that leads up into the hairpin, or the safety pin, as Dorsey Schrader likes to call it, as they head down in there, that was where the full course caution flags were going to fly, and of course shortly after that it was going to be the red flag. There's the double yellows. The drivers knew something had happened, and I guess, Tom, the one piece of good news from that incident was that by the time that car got away from Fiorelli, the water and him trying to control it had got him behind all of the other competitors. There's his move again. Now watching it tails away, watch the spray, and then when he spears across, he at this point at least was behind all the competitors. There's the hit. Again, you can see that wall just give way, and that's an immense amount of energy that is being displaced there to do that damage to the wall.
Well, and that's preform wall. It's heavy stuff, and it's got rebar in it. Here's another look from the front. It's miraculous, as you say, Greg Creamer, that he managed to get that thing wound up enough so when he did that, he didn't collect anybody.
Yeah, you could see him working on that car. It was going left, he was going right, he was doing everything he could to control it and to get it slowed down, and it paid off. And at that point, of course, then the beautiful Dodge Challenger came out, the pace car came out to gather up the field, and it was shortly thereafter as they led them around, brought them down in. As soon as the officials looked at that wall, they knew this was going to be a long downtime.
And Track Services and Track Medical were right on top of that crash, so it's good that it happened there, and we're pleased to tell you that Dave is A-OK. He walked away. He's going to go need to spend some time in the little room with the doc, but he walked away. He said he felt fine.
Well, that I think speaks volumes about this amazing car, this ACRX Viper, one that obviously it's a very, very high performance car, and yet in an incident like that, you're able to displace that much energy and the driver is able to walk away. A.J. Morgan leading at the time they brought him down into the pits. And with that, the track went red. We'll be right back to bring you the rest of this race.
The club, an amateur racer. Here at GoRacingTV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
We're back at Sebring for the Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra, and this is the remarkable Sebring International Raceway EV crew giving the track one last look at here at all of the barriers and generally around the track because we are about to get ready to go racing. The reason that they're giving that one last look, of course, it all started right here with this huge hit by Fiorelli. Yeah,
we've seen a lot of versions of this, but I can't take my eyes off it as he goes streaming across the back there, doesn't collect anybody, has as hard an impact of the wall I've seen since Eric Curran did it at the end of turn number 1 a few years ago in a World Challenge car. And to know that he's okay, and the Dodge looks great actually, considering it just went through that. You know, by the time, I dare say, for rounds number 3 and 4, we're going to see that car back.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about how sturdy these cars are. I mean, look at that chunk of concrete that they are replacing. It's difficult to make that replacement. That's why this took so long, trying to fit that in. And now, here's the shot everybody's watching and waiting for, Dave Fiorelli, and look at him work to try and save this thing.
You know, we got this from his own onboard camera that he uses with his data system, but look at that. That is a hard lick. And as you can imagine, our onboard camera that was on that car
smoked.
Yeah, we finally found it, but it was in so many pieces I've never seen one before. So the lights go out on the pace car. We know from race control now that we've got 1 lap to go. This is not a green-white checker situation. This is a green-white checker situation. So as these guys get warmed up, they've had a long sit on pit lane. And for a Dodge Viper Cup race to come down to 1 lap, well, only something like that could make it do it. And I don't think Larry Carter saw that. And come to think of it, I'm pretty sure the rest of the field didn't know why we were yellow until they came around the front straightaway for the first time.
Yeah, I bet when they were told what had caused this long stoppage, everybody was like, oh, wow, okay. Well, meanwhile, here we go, the Challenger, the lights are off, so we expect that car to duck into the pits, and this is it, 1 lap shootout, folks.
Hey, how many last laps of Sebring have you called in your career? This could be a good one.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, I think this will stand up, absolutely. This is going to be fascinating to watch. Here we go, the pace car is in. There is A.J. Morgan leading him away. Keating, watch for it right here. Look for the green. It flies. And Mike Von Quillick, big move right away, pops to the outside. Not quite as far over to where it might still be damp. Meanwhile, Keating looks to the inside. That's a tough one to go. And Billy, what a move by Billy Grubb.
Billy Grubb goes from about 6th to 3rd in one race as Mike Von Quillick went the other way, got slowed up, and Billy took advantage of it. Side-by-side racing now between P1 and 2.
boy, I'll tell you what, normally you shallow into one there, it really slows you up on the exit. Morgan had a bit of a run, but I think he decided Keating was turning in. End of story, and I don't want to get into contact here. And so now the run through this long, sweeping right-hander that leads him up. It's turn 6, down into the hairpin. And A.J. Morgan is in full pursuit mode. And watch right here, Keating, boy, is he shallowing up. He is being very protective, and Tom, that can slow you up.
Oh, it does slow you up every single time. I've watched so many laps from the patio from that hotel. It slows you up every time, and there's your evidence right there.
Morgan glued now to the back of Keating, a deceptively quick pair of corners there, that right-hand, left-hand sweep. Now down into a key corner, Cunningham, turn 10, and again, Keating protects on the inside, and he gets loose. He floats out a little bit, and here comes Morgan. He's got the nose in, and they're heading up now through this trick complex. They touch, and coming through, it looks like Morgan's got, oh, and they touch again. Keating not giving up, Tom.
Oh, man. Keating was going to touch him anyway. As our chief steward, Terry Yearwood, says, you need 2 things on this track to do well: mentum and momentum. And that's a study in Dodge Viper. Oh, Keating drops his tires through that puddle. That's going to take away some of his grip, but not too many people pull that pass off anyway, Greg.
Not at all. Meanwhile, very complex couple of corners, 15 and 16. And look at Keating. That is called opening your radius up, folks, trying to get as straight line and attack onto this long Ullman back straight as you can. And Keating got a decent run. Morgan now protecting a little bit. Keating in the toe. Billy Grupp at the back going, I'm fine. I'm watching this one from back here, folks. And here we go. Keating takes a look. Morgan's got him covered. Morgan floats just a little bit wide.
So
Keating
bumpy.
down to the inside, but he hits those huge bumps, Tom.
Yeah, so bumpy through there. Inside line's never going to work through there, especially when AJ had all that momentum. As you can see, they're absolutely evenly matched. Even the aero dragged, it wasn't much of an advantage. That was a great Dodge Viper Cup finish right there, baby.
That was an awesome last lap again. We've seen it. Sebring, Keating second, Grupp third, Courtney and Ted Hoos.
Courtney, look at Courtney right from the back.
Absolutely. Mike Von Quillick, even though he had that, got caught, trapped on the outside at that start, if you will. Just an amazing event here. Now, here are the points basically based on how they finished. There are some qualifying points, and it was a topsy-turvy qualifying session, so that's where it changes up a little bit. Morgan, Keating, Grupp, your top 3 in the points right now after 1 of 10 rounds, so very early in the going at this point. These 2 guys enjoyed their cool-down lap, enjoying it, and as Morgan got down into the pits and paddock area, he crawled out of the car, and of course, Tom was down there to greet him.
You know, today is a day of firsts. It's the first win for you, and of course, it's the first time you've ever missed your graduation. Tell me about that.
It's actually the second time I missed my graduation. 8th grade graduation, I was down in Indianapolis racing midgets, so it's no stranger to me missing graduation, but I'm just so happy that we're here. We brought the 59 victory finally. Got to thank Archer Racing, John Archer and all his mechanics. They know what they're doing. And then especially going down into 17, I had so much confidence in my brake pedal, and that was just key. So I got to thank Hard Brakes out of Naperville. They know what they're doing when it comes to brakes. So I got to thank my dad, number 1. He let me come out here. He didn't want to go to my graduation. So I mean, let's get out here. Let's go to Sebring. Let's try and get a win. So here we are, and we got it.
And we're going to do the whole thing again tomorrow. Well, Ben, normally these things play out, but there was not enough time for really anything to play out.
There was no playing out. It was a one-lap shootout, and it was incredible. It was a great fun. I wish we'd have had 15 laps to race. A.J. and I had a blast. I mean, he didn't have a very good restart. I passed him on the restart, stayed in front for about half a lap, and then he was able to get next to me in turn 10, 11, and there's a puddle there, and it was really tight. We rubbed each other a little bit through a few turns, and he got out in front at turn 13 to the finish, but it was a lot of fun.
Good way to start off round 1 in 2011.
Indeed.
Well, Billy, that may have been the strangest race you've ever been involved in, but the result is just the same.
That number 56 Mopar Dodge just was awesome. That start, when we got to do the restart, pick up 3 positions on that first line, couldn't have asked for better. The car's just simply superb. Just makes me look like a good driver, and I'm just simply a yard boy trying to make a living. So I am happy as I can be to be here, and I appreciate Dodge for all they do and Mopar for taking care of us.
First podium for this man, Billy Grupp.
Thank you.
Well, he's a yard boy who became a long ornament as he steps up onto the podium and the pedestal, enjoying that moment with A.J. and Ben, fresh-shaven and still aggressive. And, of course, we had to check in with Mr. Fiorelli after that big hit, and Tom did.
Well, Dave Fiorelli, that was an incredibly hard hit, and yet you stand here.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. The wall moved quite a bit, which was fortunate. It absorbed a lot of the impact, so we're fine. Car's not so good, but we're fine.
But I see your crew busily working on the car. Are you thinking about getting it ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, no, we're getting it ready to transport off to a shop to get fixed. It's not going to be ready tomorrow, unfortunately.
Well, it's great to know he'll be back, and it certainly speaks volumes about the ACRX, not only its competitiveness, but also its safety and its strength. Awesome news indeed. We come back to Sebring for more of the Dodge Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra for round 2. So join us then, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer for Tom Natchew. Take care.